Are we good to go?
Yep, it is slowly loading. We are live. We're live.
Okay. Thank you so much for being patient with us. We had a few technical difficulties in the beginning, but welcome to our second Pirate Parents Live in the Umbrella Family series. My name is Carter Fenwick, and I'm the Associate Director of Parent and Family Programs. Now, March is National Umbrella Month, as I mentioned in our first Pirate Parents Live. So we decided to hold 4 Pirate Parents Lives throughout the month on the theme of becoming umbrella families. We've all heard of bulldozer parents or especially helicopter parents, but at ECU, we really encourage our families to be umbrella families. An umbrella family is one where a parent, guardian, older sibling, really any family member can stand next to their student holding the umbrella for them. They're not standing in front, not standing behind them, but next to them, holding that umbrella. So that way your students' hands are free to experience college life, do their work, make mistakes, learn, and grow on their own. So our mission is to equip our parents and family members with their umbrella, the tools and resources needed to support their student. So like I said, this is our second Pirate Parents Live within this series, and our topic today is on student well-being. If you're watching the live version, you can submit questions into the comment section. We have colleagues monitoring that and we'll answer you there. If you are watching the archived version, you can also submit questions into the comment section. My office will get a notification and we'll be able to answer your questions there. So now I will hand things over to Stephen Trotter. He is an Associate Director in Campus Recreation and Wellness and the Chair of ECU's Wellbeing Collective.
Thanks for having me, Carter, and thank you all for joining us, whether you're joining us live or you're watching it on demand later. So we want to chat with you a little bit today about what resources we have on campus around well-being when it comes to kind of that holistic overall approach. So we'll dive right in. We've got some slides and I'll work in some Q&As that you've already some of you have already submitted before, so thank you for kind of preloading some questions, and we'll get to the other questions that you may have afterwards. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself, and my name is Stephen Trotter. I'm the Associate Director of the Wellbeing area, so the wellness and fitness areas underneath Campus Recreation and Wellness, and then I also serve as the Chair of the Wellbeing Collective. So the Wellbeing Collective is our university-wide wellbeing committee, and it's various groups on all of ECU's campuses, both in academics and student affairs, and School of Medicine, and ECU physicians. We have various groups, and we kind of recommend what well-being should look like here at ECU, both for students and employees, our faculty and staff. I've been at ECU almost 2 years, so May will be my 2-year anniversary. So I'm happy to be a pirate and I'm happy to be here with you today. So a little bit more about the Wellbeing Collective and kind of our mission, why we exist, is by working together as a community, and uniting our talents, we create an engaged culture of purpose, resilience, and vitality for our students and faculty staff. And how the Wellbeing Collective kind of came about, and I think from my perspective, one of the reasons that drew me to ECU is working at a university and being a part of a community where there's a lot of people with many talents as it relates to well-being, and a lot of people that have investment with well-being. So, for a perfect choice of words, no captain is driving this ship alone when it comes to well-being. It is a all hands on deck approach. And over the last year, what we've done is we've kind of worked on our strategic plan, and this is kind of our 3-year strategic plan for the Wellbeing Collective. And right now our focus is on communication and looking at, telling our story, the work that we've kind of done, and we'll introduce you to some of those concepts today. And then step 2 is the organizational synergy, and that's pulling in the talents from all the different types of people and students and faculty and staff and community members to help us really create that synergy, and then ultimately creating that culture of well-being. And part of that is, ensuring inclusion in that and bringing in the equity perspective and making sure that we're inclusive in our well-being perspectives. And then, the fourth kind of bucket of what we like to call is the environment, and that's physically supporting well-being, meaning structurally on campus, so facilities, access, things like that? And are we creating spaces that support, not only support well-being, but encourage well-being, whether it's in the classroom or out of the classroom, or the various living spaces on campus, or even off campus for students that may live off campus and having access to that? So over that, we've kind of in the concept of, with the vitality, the resilience, and the purpose, we want to highlight the definition of thrive, and we'll kind of show you an image of that later. But it's to progress towards a goal or realize a goal despite of or because of circumstances. And with that, we kind of narrowed down with well-being. And for those of you that either work in, the well-being or wellness spaces, we've many years, there's many different models of well-being. And what we've kind of narrowed down is looking at some of our comparable institutions and our other colleagues across America, is we've kind of narrowed down using Gallup's model of well-being as kind of our basis of it. And so within that, we kind of have a holistic approach with our elements of well-being. And one of those being, the first one is career well-being, or often kind of understood as purpose well-being. It's basically how you occupy your time and whether it's fulfilling or not. So obviously one of the main reasons that students are coming to campuses is to get education and to successfully gain employment as they graduate. And not only do we have great resources on campus, like our career services, but we also have, various student organizations and groups and academic support when that comes into it. And when we look at the well-being piece, so let me make sure here we are.
There we go, it changed.
Okay, there might be a little delay there. Okay, perfect. I guess I speak faster than the computer does today.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah. When it comes to the career well-being, when we're looking at the elements, it's really the most important, because for those of you who are in the workforce, we spend a lot of our time in our lives working. And if we can find something that we find fulfilling, then that makes our overall well-being increase a lot. And even if you're going into a role and our students are going into a job because they need the security of longevity, supporting their families, and whatever that may be, if you can attach it to the higher good of the purpose, that will make it even better. But even if you go into a job and your sole purpose is the paycheck, if you can find your purpose and fulfill those buckets on the outside, you could still have that increased higher level of well-being. So next up is our social well-being, and simply put, it's having strong relationships and love in your life. And when it comes to, one of the great ways is when incoming students go through our co-ed and our first year kind of experience classes, a lot of this is kind of weaved into that curriculum already, because relationships are so important, especially for students coming in who are maybe living with someone and they've never had to share a space with someone before, or they have always shared a space with someone and now they're not sharing a space with someone. And how do you build those friendships in the classroom, outside of the classroom, and how do those roommate relationships work? But one of the unique pieces that I like to kind of highlight when it comes to social well-being is the fact that social well-being is a huge determinant of our overall well-being. And there's lots of stats out there saying that, in having strong connections will essentially give us more happiness than money and income will, after a certain extent, after those base needs are met. So, which leads into financial well-being. And one of the exciting things is, and if you haven't kind of been in the loop already, is that the launch of our kind of financial literacy and well-being hub, and having a full-time person now that can kind of lead that initiative when it comes to financial well-being, and having, whether it's individual, one-on-one, small group, and providing resources, because when it comes to financial well-being, it's effectively managing your economic life. And one of the things as you're kind of doing now is, and as students are coming back, is making sure that you're looking at those FAFSAs and other things, and what financial aid is available, and also work study too, because if your student is looking for gainful employment on campus, many departments hire student employees, but also having that work study program is even like that extra step, and it's available, and sometimes money's left on the table. So looking at all of those avenues as you're kind of going through that piece too. So then up comes physical well-being, and it's about having good health and enough energy to get things done on a daily basis. So when we think of physical well-being, we may gravitate towards exercise, and yes, exercise is a piece of it, but that's not the whole picture of physical well-being. I mean, here we're looking at, mental health as a part of the physical well-being, but really mental health is at the center of all of this. That's what well-being is. And sleep, nutrition are huge, huge components of this physical well-being too. And many people and many of our students and our majors here at ECU are in kind of the helping professions way, or going into something where we'll be helping others. And we all know that we cannot pour from an empty bucket. And it's, if you've been on a plane before, the secure your own mask before helping others. But the big piece of it is how we like to look at it is think of it as the gas tank in your car. The best part about it, it's refillable. It's like is the glass half full? Is it half empty? It doesn't matter. The point is it's refillable. And being able, and that's our role on campus. And, we all have to work together, the all hands on deck of when are we being able to see whether it's, signs and symptoms of burnout or risk factors of burnout. And when we're seeing that, stress, elevated levels of stress, anxiety, depression, and things that are naturally occurring, that many people will face. But part of it is being able to know when that gas light comes on, or can you get to the station before? And what are the things that you can get involved with and students can do on campus to make sure that their gas tank stays full of gas? And that's how we're able to help others and to help ourselves, is we have to take care of ourselves first. And then lastly, when we're looking at the kind of elements of well-being, and this is like the quick down and dirty educational piece of behind some of the frameworks, is the community well-being. It's the sense of engagement in the area in which you live. It's how safe you feel, how involved you are in giving back to the campus or in the community, and that's anywhere. And understand, if for those of you who kind of know the Maslow's hierarchy, that base is a huge portion of that. When it comes to food, shelter, water, things like that, those base needs have to be met before anything else matters when it comes into community well-being. And having those resources, for example, with our Purple Pantry for food insecurities, and being able to have those resources is a crucial part of our campus, because if we are going to be a well campus, we have to have well students and well faculty and staff on campus. Because we are a pirate ship, and all of our crew and all of our guests need to be well for our ship to be well. And that's, and once we kind of have that, we move to that next step of being able to give back into the community. And, if you're listening right now, even take a look at yourself and ask yourself, do I feel connected to where I live? And do I find ways to give back and support the community that I live? And then also, the physical spaces, like we talked about earlier with the environment, that kind of rolls into this too. So there's your quick lesson on kind of the elements of well-being. But here's a lot of the reason why you're here is resources and being in the know with campus and community resources. And we're not going to go super giving you long lists, because we know that we need to let things land and let you absorb them. And so giving some of those starting points to go with it. So I'm going to share a couple of resources and what we're kind of doing and answering some of the questions that kind of come into it. And first and foremost, when it comes in the know with campus and community resources, is being able to work collaboratively together, because we all have different audiences that we reach. We all have connections. And when it comes down to it, we've talked a lot about this recently. And for those of you that maybe work in the, kind of marketing or communication side of things in that industry, that individual invitation is so important. And yes, you can send out an email blast and say, here's what's going on. But really, if you have that personal invitation, you're much more likely to do that. And it's choosing that communication method when we're making these campus and community resources out. And a lot of people, let's be serious, not many people talk on the phone as much anymore as it is texting. And you even catch yourself, you might text somebody before, it's like, hey, are you available to talk? And then before you actually call. But even with that texting someone, hey, I'm doing this, do you want to join? Yes, it's that personal invitation. But even if you can get them on the phone or in person and say, hey, I would like you to attend this with me, then you're going to increase that chance that that person's going to join you. And we stick with that behavior. So one of the first things that I'm super excited to share with you, and something we've been working on, is our actual Wellbeing Hub. So our Wellbeing Hub will kind of be, we're going to do a soft launch this semester with some kind of one-off programming here and there, and run some therapeutic events out of here. But we're redesigned a space in the main campus student center. And this is what it looks like. Like, this is hot off the press of the designs going up. We've got some things to do structurally inside still, and moving some furniture around. But we're setting up a space that is a place that multiple departments on campus can provide services, whether it's one-on-one well-being coach, small group activities, whether we're actually streaming things like this out of it, and we're doing things in person. I mean, even, prior to the pandemic, we had a large online community. ECU is the leader in online education in the state of North Carolina, and so having these structures set up for us to communicate and support is super important. So that's the short term for this semester, is going to be running some one-off programs out of there, and partnering with our partners, like with the Counseling Center, or Center for Counseling and Student Development, Student Health, our various partners, Academic Success, because again, it's that, I like to think of it as a spider web, and every spider web, every student has their own spider web, and the spider web looks different, but a lot of the pieces of the spider web kind of come together the same way. And it's creating that unique experience for each student to give them the best resources that they need, that they can connect with. And then as you're on campus, you'll see us kind of doing some events and programs. And then as we kind of come into the fall, we'll have it staffed with some of our wellbeing ambassadors during hours of the day, where people can drop in, and whether it's meditate, whether it's talk to a wellbeing coach, or kind of grab and go. We're doing a lot of DIY kind of stress relief kits right now, and helping people navigate where they need to go. A lot of our students will come in, and even our faculty and staff will say, I want to do something, but I don't know where to start. So can you help me be that guide of where to go? And kind of moving the puzzle pieces so we can get people where they need to be. And with that being said, is looking on the backside with, kind of our Discover programs, our Explore programs, and our Live programs, and kind of giving you some guidance on how we kind of come up with that terminology as we're framing these programs. Is our Discover programs are things like quick connections. We're just getting the information in front of someone. So it's just like, hey, we exist. Hey, this exists. How are you? Back last year, we did a lot of our Discover programs out and about on campus with various partners, whether we would bring in like therapy dogs, we would bring in, teach people how to make healthy snacks, whether we would just kind of showcase some local produce and what the benefits are of that. And we're just catching students as they go in and out of class, and through the library, and we're just coming into contact with them, maybe for 30 seconds to 60 seconds, but all we're doing is we're introducing well-being to them, and we're inviting them to come back. And that's where that Explore comes in, where you're like, okay, I think I want to know a little bit more about that, or I'm looking for ways to sleep better, and I see this course that you've got, or this program that you're going to do on how to strategically set up your living space for proper sleep. Then that might be something where I like to come into and say, like, you know what, I'm interested in this. For example, one of the kind of things we got in the works right now is launching a happiness week next year, and just happiness practices that you can kind of do on that Explore piece. And another way we get information into students is by way of the classroom, where creating modules or videos that faculty can kind of plug and play into Canvas for the online portion of it, or will show up in like we are now virtually, or when we're, for the folks that are in the classroom, we'll show up in person and deliver that presentation in person, because that's a captive audience. And that's really the approach that we've taken, is that whole campaign of we did with Meet Them Where They Are, is instead of getting people to try to come to us and fighting that battle, let's go to them. We know where they are, so let's go to them and say, hey, are you aware that this is available to you? And then that Live piece, that third piece, is really, think of it as like what we like to call train the trainer aspect of it, where I am ingrained in it. I am living this every day. So for example, if we're going back to this happiness the happiness project, kind of saying like we're doing a happiness week. This may be where I kind of, whether it's kind of a 9 credit instruction or kind of a 6-week program where I'm going through the process that I really, really want to change this behavior and I want to become better at it and I want it to stick. That's what we're seeing with this kind of live program take off. Not only that, the other piece of the live program, when we say train the trainer, it's the students that say, you know what, I have found a love for this and this is what I want my career to be. And how do we get the students the certifications that they need, the education that they need, then they can actually get that peer-to-peer education. And we know peer-to-peer support and peer-to-peer education is so, so important. And because we have to stay in the know, because if we're trying to sell something that people don't want, then it's not going to work. And if we're trying to deliver it in a way that people are like, okay, you are so uncool, like, no, then we have to have that piece where we have that peer-to-peer education. And at the beginning of the day, when we talk about what people don't want is, ask people what they want. We ask the students, whether it's in focus groups, surveys, and what is it that you actually want to see on campus and how can we best support you? And if any of you work in the sales industry, you know that what we like to say is the no-go is don't come in and be like, we have this, and this is what you need. Start with a conversation of what are your pain points or what is it that you actually want to improve on? So we can create that spider web of support specifically for that student or that faculty and that staff. So that's a little bit about kind of that thought process. One of the resources that we kind of partnered up and SGA, Student Government Association, which is a huge player in this, along with our Wellbeing Collective and the Department of Campus Rec and Wellness, is launching of the Better You app. And we talked a little bit about it in December when we were on our call. And now that we've kind of in that soft launch, this is a resource. And even if your student is not on campus right now, they can still download and participate in this. So Better You is an app on the App Store that ECU is kind of invested in to bring well-being to our students. And essentially it's a digital coach. It's a digital coach that helps you achieve your personal well-being goals in the areas physical, social well-being, education, and mindfulness. And it provides those gentle nudges and reminders that positively influence that behavior. So when we look at how it specifically works is that you go in and you set up your goals off the bat. So you do what we call onboarding. So when it goes into onboarding, you choose what goals you have. So the students, what's most important is they have to use their ECU student email to access this. Otherwise, they will not get access to it. So they go in and they set up their goals. And let's say that they have a goal for social well-being and it's to talk to, let's say a family member. It may be to talk to you if you're on this, if you're on our Facebook Live or watching it later. And they're, the app knows if they're calling you or not, and privacy features in place and all that. But the app knows if they're talking to you or not, or if they've made that call. They're not listening, but it just knows if they've reached out to you. And let's say the student is, on a Netflix binge, they haven't talked to you in 4 days, and which some of you are probably, okay, first of all, that would not be an option of not talking to me in 4 days. But let's say they're on their 6th hour of Netflix, then you might get a gentle nudge and says, hey, you said calling mom, dad, parent, whoever, sister, brother, whoever it may be, was important to you. Is now a good time to do that? So it's providing the gentle nudges to the goals that is specifically set by the student, meaning that it's not forcing goals on people, it's nudging you to do the things that you already said were important. And then as you meet those goals and achieve those badges, you actually get rewarded. And the incentives are gift cards. And you, for example, after onboarding, your student gets, I believe, a choice of an Amazon gift card within 24 hours of onboarding itself. So it provides that gentle nudges, and we wanted to reduce the barriers of entry when we went with this. So you're not having to go into a website, you're not having to log things, it's kind of doing it automatically. So if you have an Apple Watch or activity tracker on, a Fitbit, it kind of works in that same way. And I've kind of explained it to you, but I do have a short 60-second video that I'll show for you because that will explain it better than me.
This is Better You. Better You is a digital coach that can help you improve your physical, social, and mental well-being. It starts by choosing an area of wellness you'd like to work on. Let's say you want to set goals around your physical well-being. You can set a fitness goal to help keep you healthy and energized, or a sleep goal so that you can start waking up feeling more rested. Better You also helps you stay in touch with the people who matter the most, like friends and family, and gives you credit for communicating on apps like iMessage, Facebook Messenger, and more. You can also set educational goals. Let's say you want to spend more time reading the news, or even learning a new language. You can set your goals here, and Better You will help you stay on track. If you'd like to devote time to practicing mindfulness, you can set goals around meditation and spirituality. And as you start to build better wellness habits and reach new wellness milestones, you'll become eligible to earn different rewards right here in the app. So whatever wellness goals you set for yourself, know that Better You is here to help you stay on track and achieve your goals so that you can be your better you.
So how do students sign up for Better You? The link is on here. It's register.betteryou.ai. And again, like I said, what's most important is the students have to use their ECU email address to be eligible to sign up for it. So that's kind of the one piece that we've recently launched with our students. And again, you don't have to be on campus right now to do so, even if your student's virtual or if they're coming in as an incoming student in the fall. As soon as they get their university email, they can sign up for this. So one of the questions that we got was, how do students find out information? And two of the resources that I'll kind of show you, they're in a sense, they're actually kind of the same resource, but they just look differently, whether you're on a website or you're on your phone, but is our Engage. So engage.ecu.edu is a great way for students to not only find out what's going on, but what student organizations, what experiential learning out of the classroom type stuff that faculty members are putting in. This is a way that, you could be like, my afternoon's clear. What do I want to do today? Let me log into Engage and see what's available. And that's how you join student organizations, and it's kind of that the virtual living room per se of when you log in, you're like, where I'm trying to figure out where I want to go today. So it's your kind of your virtual visitor center living room. And then on the mobile version of that, we have the Cork app. And so there's some screen grabs on your screen right now of what Engage looks like from the website, and then the Cork app that students can download on their phone and log into with their university email address, and you'll able to see and sign up for things that are happening on campus, and you can kind of sort, filter, all that great stuff. So again, to create that spider web that's perfect for the student itself. And the last kind of resource that I'm going to mention right here, because I said I don't want to overload, but again, I just want you to discover and then come back to us with questions, is what if someone doesn't know where to get started? I want to improve this, or I don't know who to go to. This is what well-being coaching is a great way to do that. We have a national board certified health and wellness coach that leads our well-being coaching program. And it's kind of a collaborative effort with multiple departments on and off campus that we help kind of co-create that goal with the students. So it's not, the well-being coach isn't going to do it for them. It's co-created, because that's the key piece of well-being coaching. It is a co-created plan that the individual is the expert in their own lives, and we're just here to help walk alongside and provide people with the resources. So if you don't know where to begin, well-being coaching is a great start, because if you don't know where to go, you can meet with that well-being coach, and we can get you connected to the people that are here and want to help and support students on campus. You can find out more about well-being coaching by either Googling ECU well-being coaching. Sometimes if you Google ECU, there's that university in Australia. I do that a lot. But if you Google ECU well-being coaching, or you can go to crw.ecu.edu and click on Live Well, and it will pop up for you. So we've got a ton of resources there for you. And really, like I said from the get-go, this ship is not driven by one person. We are a community that works together, and as a group with this Wellbeing Collective, with our partners from academics, from Center for Counseling and Student Development, and the programs that they've been running with the Let's Talk of just those 5-minute check-ins. And it's providing that support where we can all work together, because like I said, the most important part is for us to be a well campus, we have to be a well community. And for us to be a well community, all individuals have to be able to thrive. And with that being said, I've got, when I put our campus wellness email address up there. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out. And other than that, I'll kind of open it to questions. If there's any for me specifically. Carter, are you seeing anything come through?
I haven't seen any come through to me, no.
Okay.
But this is great information. I feel like I've learned so much.
Oh, that was my goal here, to get y'all to discover well-being.
Is
Well, if
as a staff member, are staff allowed to download that Better You app?
So not currently. You can technically download it, but right now in our pre-launch, we're pre-launching for students only, because we kind of got a smaller group and we're trialing it out with the students who are using it. And then our hope is come fall, we'll open it up to more students and again, at faculty and staff at that point. But I will say, since you mentioned that, we do have complimentary well-being coaching available for faculty and staff as well. So employees have free access to well-being coaching, in addition to all the free or complimentary resources that come with our assistance program, faculty and staff assistance program that HR put together.
That's awesome. And that Better You app is free for students also, correct?
Yes, it is completely free for students. And like I said, the students normally get their first reward within 24 to 48 hours of onboarding, and you get kind of rewards as you do the things that you want to do anyway. And then each month there's usually a large challenge where the stakes are a little bit higher, but the prizes are a little bit higher too. And that may be all, ECU Pirates that are on there, but also it could be all universities, and this is in a lot of corporate companies to use it. So that's a nice thing about it. If a student graduates and they get a job, let's say with, whatever corporate company, a lot of corporate companies also use this as kind of a well-being app, so they can kind of continue that journey on with it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stephen. Do you have anything else that you would like to add to close us out?
Like I said from the beginning, it's all hands on deck. We can't do it alone. We need your support. We need all of our campuses support. And like I said, for this ship to go move forward, it's all hands on deck.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's why we're providing this information to our parents and family members to be that additional support for their students, especially during these wacky days that we're living in. So thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for this really, really wonderful and helpful information. Thank you to all of our viewers for watching with us live, or for watching the archived version, which will be on our Facebook. It will be on our parents.ecu.edu website, and it will also be on our parent and family portal. We will put it everywhere. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can send them directly to Campus Recreation and Wellness at campuswellness@ecu.edu, like Stephen mentioned, or you can send them to parents@ecu.edu, and then we will get you connected with where you need to go. So thank you again, Stephen. Thank you all for joining us. Our next Pirate Parents Live in the Umbrella Family series will be on financial wellness, with our brand new Financial Wellness Hub director, Rachel. She will be here next Wednesday, same time, 12 p.m., same place on Facebook. And take care, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.